that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free. And the home of the
Greetings indeed, you guys. Welcome back to Unshakable with April Chapman, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. Happy, Lord, I think it's Tuesday. Y'all, when I tell you I'm losing track of the days, I have missed y'all. Something terrible. But I gotta fill you guys in. I am all discombobulated, okay? First of all, I want to welcome you guys to the live stream. Super excited to be here tonight. I did not think, I know y'all like, why is she live at 9:45 p.m. on a Tuesday night? It's because I was trying to go live earlier and there was a miscommunication. I thought someone wanted me on a podcast, but it ended up being a Zoom meeting and I was all confused. And so I missed the window of opportunity to go live. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to just go live because I have not talked to my audience. It's been almost a week. So welcome to all of you who are watching me on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook is touch and go. But if you are watching and live streaming from any of those platforms, welcome to the show. You guys, this weekend, I was in the great state of Pennsylvania, specifically in the city of Philadelphia. Y'all know every time I go out of town, I always got a war story. Always got a war story for you. And this one, I think this one is going down in the history books. So Friday, I'm laughing at it now, but it's really not funny. Friday, I land in Philadelphia. And I was staying in a beautiful historic hotel in downtown Philly. And my flight got in earlier than my check-in time. So I get to the hotel and they're like, yeah, your room's not ready. You can't check in. So I'm like, okay, so, what do you want me to do? And they're like, well, I mean, you can go get something to eat. Now, y'all know I'm from New York, right? I am born and bred in, like, I'm not from like Yonkers or White Plains or Westchester County. I am from the Bronx. But y'all, it's been so long since I've been in like an inner city environment. I'm a little rusty, right? I'm a little rusty. So the front desk agent goes, yeah, there's places to eat up and down here. So I get on my phone and I start Googling, and I absolutely love Korean barbecue. And it was something about this part of downtown Philly. There was just Asian spots all up and down Chestnut. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go walk and go find myself something to eat because I am kind of hungry. So I found this Korean barbecue spot. So I order my little bulgogi and I eat my food. And then I got a call from my people. Shout out to Blexic. Was on the phone with Blexic leadership, and we were kind of dealing with the situation. And I was, functioning in an advisory role. And y'all, because I'm from New York, I'm trying to tell my people in Blexic, I'm like, y'all, okay, I'm walking in the street. I got to keep my head on the swivel. So I said, I really need to get off the phone. Do y'all got it from here? Can I call y'all a little later? And y'all, I step off the curb into the street. And y'all know Philadelphia is an old city. I'm talking like cobblestone street old. So some streets have cobblestone and, some have asphalt. And when I travel, you guys, I always want to look my best. Like I don't travel in bonnets and slippers and pajama pants. Like I don't travel that way because I'm representing the Chapman family, and my mama doesn't travel that way. I just wasn't. I just wasn't raised that way. So I always look my best. But because my room wasn't ready, I didn't get a chance to go up and kind of get comfortable. So I still had on what I got off the plane with. I had on, as a matter of fact, I had this on with a leather jacket. So this is like a little jumpsuit, right? Leather jacket and some heeled boots. Honey, listen, Linda, when I tell you I am intimately acquainted with Philadelphia cobblestone, like we're in a prostonteon relationship, face to face. Okay. I step off the curb and my boot somehow got caught in my pants leg, and y'all, it happened in slow motion. Your girl went down. I saw myself looking at myself, and myself was like, "Self, you about to hit this. You about to hit this cobblestone. Brace yourself, cause this gonna be a doozy." And I saw it happening, and in my mind, I was like, "No, this not really gonna happen. This can't happen." Next thing I know, y'all, both phones flew out my hand across the street. The purse goes flying, and I hit the pavement. I mean, I hit the pavement hard. A car is trying to turn left on the chestnut, and I'm laid out prostrate like I'm worshiping the King of Kings, but I wasn't. I wasn't worshiping, y'all. I fell. Y'all, I was like, my face hit the concrete, and I laid there. I said, Father, why have you forsaken me? Why am I laid out in the street? Laid out in the street. It happened so fast. I think in my mind, I was trying to use my hands to brace myself, but I had both of my phones in my hand, and the phones went flying. And y'all, when I tell y'all the city of brotherly love came through for your girl, I thought people were gonna laugh. I really did. But I mean, hindsight looking back, it was kind of funny because I literally just stepped off the curb and my foot hit a piece of cobblestone, and the cobblestone was like, not today. No, we're not gonna be here for you today. And next thing I know, it was a wobble, and then it was a and I'm laid out like this. And when I looked up, my face has asphalt dust, wiped the lipstick clean off my face. I don't have no lipstick on. All of this is covered in asphalt. My knee is like throbbing and it's burning. And I'm like, I done scraped my knee. So I'm looking like, okay, do I have a hole in my pants? And two men were like, ma'am, are you okay? And then this black woman, she rushes to me. She was like, are you all right? And I was like, y'all, I'm safe. I'm good. I'm just a little clumsy. Like, I'm trying to play it off because the adrenaline is pumping. I'm like in shock. I'm like, I can't believe I fell. Two people grabbed my phones, got my purse. I pulled myself together. Y'all, did I say I was on the phone? Y'all, I'm still on the phone. I am still on the phone when this happened. And they're just talking. And I'm like, y'all, I just bust my face in the street. Can I call y'all back? I was like, because I'm a little dizzy and I'm not good. I'm gonna hit y'all later. Y'all, I'm a block away from my hotel. I get into the hotel and I asked the front desk clerk, I was like, where's your bathroom? I'm like frazzled. By this point, I'm knee deep into a hot flash. The anxiety, my cortisol levels are on 10. Yeah, I go into the bathroom. No, he's like, oh yes, you can use the one downstairs. I was like, steps. I was like, me and steps right now are not a good combination. But if that is the only bathroom, y'all could be, I'm limping. I hit that pavement so hard that my knee, it just, the range of motion just, it wasn't motioning. So I walked down the steps. You know how you do the one, you're not stepping, you just like, I get into the bathroom and y'all, I just start busting out crying. I'm just, because now the adrenaline has set in, and the shock of I just bust my face out there on the streets of Philadelphia on some cobblestone, it hit me. And I called my husband. He's like, "What's wrong? What's happening?" I'm like, I fell. I was like, "Oh my God, so embarrassed." He was like, "Oh gosh, how the heck did you fall?" Y'all, I've been falling the past 36 months. I've fallen a lot. And it's making me wonder if this is some sort of vertigo issue, but it's not. This time was the cobblestone. So I finally look at my knee and I'm like, wow. I was like, I have a speaking engagement tomorrow and I have a dress. I was like, my knees don't match. One is all swole. It looked like I got gout. And the other knee is normal. I'm bleeding. Knee is all scraped up like I'm like I felt, y'all know how toddlers fall? I felt like a little I felt like a little toddler. I was just like I felt like a toddler. So my knee is bleeding. And then I'm talking on the phone to my husband and I'm like something weird on my tooth. But I don't realize what it is. I woke up the next morning and realized, y'all, I chipped my tooth. I chipped my tooth. Now y'all can't see it on camera and I'm gonna get it fixed. But if you look real close, you can see it. Robert was like, "What do you mean you chipped your tooth?" I said, "I told you my face hit the cobblestone. I chipped my tooth." So now I got a new war story for you. I fell on cobblestone, busted up my knee, and chipped the tooth. Now I was gonna come on here and tell you I got into a fight so I can get some street cred. I was gonna be like, yeah, somebody, we had to throw hands and I got a chipped tooth, but that's not what happened. But I did. I chipped my tooth and I gotta go get that repaired. And that was the highlight, one of the main highlights of my trip to Philadelphia. But God was faithful. I'm healing up nicely. I iced my knee and my pants, believe it or not, the trajectory of the fall caused my pants leg flew up. And so when I scraped my knee, there's no hole in my pants. But y'all, listen. I was like, okay, we may have to give up these darn heels. They cute, but heels and wide leg pants and cobblestone don't go together. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting to do all that walking. I forgot where I was going. Y'all, here in Georgia, we don't walk. Okay? Like this is Atlanta, but we don't walk if I could drive to my mailbox, I would. I don't walk. So to have to walk a city block was a big deal. And I am forever traumatized by cobblestone. I don't want to see no cobblestone. And when I was telling people, they're like, "Oh yeah, the cobblestone, it'll do that to you." And I'm just like, it's been a minute. I forgot. So anyway, oh, thank you, thank you, Redeem. Oh man, blame it on the cobblestone. It was the cobblestone and stiletto heeled boots do not go together because it's not a smooth surface. So you're walking, but you're unable to get the traction that you need in order to stay, you know what I'm saying, without losing your balance. It was horrible. Oh, it was horrible. But anyway, that is not what this live stream is about, okay? I had planned to talk about two topics. I wanted to talk about y'all, the welfare queens, the ratchetang matriarchal miscreants are crashing out. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm really not. I understand that everyone at some point in time needs help, whether it's Section 8 or food stamps. I mean, that is not the issue, or I am not insensitive to that reality. But what I want to talk about is a segment of the population that's something else, where the Democrat Party has done a masterful job of creating a class of dependents, mainly females, um, who are single and childless, and they have created this class of dependents that we are seeing crash out like never before. I don't know if y'all realize it, but y'all, Kevin Samuels said the winter was coming, and now it is here. It's like like winter is here. Winter is here, and if you have not prepared, you're probably gonna be left out in the cold. So I want to welcome you all to the live stream. First, let's get some housekeeping things out the way. Go ahead and like this video, share it with your tribe. The funny little story about me falling on the cobblestone, unless you're like a fan of the channel, you won't get it, because whenever my travel exploits, I always come back with something wild and crazy that happened. And that between Charlie Kirk's funeral and the ravine and the white pantsuit and the Valentinos, and now we can add the cobblestone face plant. Right, we can add that to the repertoire of things that have happened to April for 500 Alex. We can add that. But I think it's on the perimenopause too. Thank you, Jada. Something is, y'all, my balance is off. My vision is blurry. Everything is achy. I was talking with a sister in the Lord today. We were just talking about all the things that are changing and going on with us, and I think my balance is one of them. I had a frozen shoulder for almost 9 months for trying to kill a bug. What was that, 2 years ago? And then I think it was the year after that, I fell trying to kill a bug. I hit the face, just hit the wall. And then this one was public because I wasn't in the confines of my home. I was on the streets of Philadelphia, but nobody laughed. I really expected people to laugh because, I mean, I'm just, my sanctification ain't right. Had I saw the way I fell in the street, I probably would have laughed and then asked if the person was okay. People asked if I was okay, and nobody laughed in Philly. I was shocked. I really was shocked. But hey Dayon, so good to see you. Thank you so much for that super chat. Dayon says food stamps weren't implemented into the 60s and welfare programs weren't around until the 1930s. How did we make it? How did we make it this far as a human race in America? Well, the supplemental needs and assistance program, originally, the supplemental aid of food stamps actually started during, I want to say, was it World War II? When so many of the men were going off to war, the government came up with this subsidy program for women whose husbands were in war and they just needed to make ends meet. It was never meant to be some sort of permanent safety net like this. It kind of morphed and it expanded into this later on. But I should keep your phone. I should. Terry, you can ask the people I was on the phone with. I literally told them before I fell, I said, y'all, I have to keep my head on a swivel. I need to get off this phone because I need to pay attention. And I was in the process of getting off the phone when I stepped off the curb and and fell. I was literally in the process of doing that. I should have never walked out of that restaurant on the phone. Should have wrapped up that phone call, put it away so that my hands would have been free. Oh gosh. Yeah, I can still see it happening in the distance. Like in my mind, I can still see me falling. It was tragic. But I'm good. I'm okay. I still just have a bruised knee. But I agree with you, Terry. You're absolutely right. But what I want to say as it relates to this topic, if the government shuts off the EBT faucet, and we end up we end up finding ourselves in a situation where it's like your life is being held in the hands of the government, that's not a good place to be. And I have thoughts about this government shutdown. I have friends that are federal workers. One particularly good friend of mine who works for TSA, he has to still show up to work because he's essential, but he is not getting a check. It is an awful situation and things are going to get worse. But the point I was going to make was that if the government shuts off the EBT faucet and your first thought is, who's going to feed my kids? The answer is supposed to be that it's never supposed to be Washington. It's supposed to be a father, right? It's supposed to be the family. It's even in the safety net and in the social structure of things, it should and can be the church, even though that's not its primary mission. But it's not supposed to be where the Democratic left, or as I call them, the deacons of dependency, are handing out permission slips for everyone to live. And so as we talk about these snap meltdowns, I'm going to show you some clips of them. I mean, the theatrics surrounding this shutdown has demonstrated to me that there's a huge segment of our population that's just politically ignorant. They don't even understand that it's the Democrats that are doing this to them. And this is why it's important for us to understand that the government should not be your baby daddy. It just should not be. Now, before the comments go feral, I am not talking about people who genuinely need help, such as your elderly, such as your disabled, such as your veterans. Why? Because scripture commands that we honor widows, right? We are supposed to care for those who are truly needy, meaning not able-bodied people who have the capacity to work and just won't work. Those who are actually needy, and we're supposed to, as believers, practice generosity. So my beef is not with grandma on a fixed income or a disabled veteran, but the smoke, it is for these professional dependents, right? The mamas of mayhem who are always bragging about being on SNAP for 10 years, receiving benefits, while telling everybody else that you need to just mind your business, right? As they ask us for more of our business, literally, like our hard-earned tax dollars, they are asking for more and then say it's none of your business. And I'm like, see, that right there is what I call welfare squalor. It's a segment of the matriarchal squalor that we've been living under for the past 3 generations. When your soul shrinks to where it's almost non-existent, but it's the size of your benefits card, and your mind can't even imagine life without some bureaucratic blessing. And so I want to talk about that tonight. I want to remind us of just some basic biblical admonitions. We read in Second Thessalonians about if a man's not willing to work, let him not eat. And there are so many proverbs that actually speak to the sluggard and how the sluggard or the lazy person, they crave and get nothing, while the soul of those who are diligent is rightly supplied. And so if you're not willing to provide for your own relatives, in the context of the Christian household of faith, the scriptures say that you've denied the faith and you are worse than an unbeliever. And so this is not April being mean, right? This is God's word being clear, giving us a directive and a principle to live by, because work is a form of worship. We work diligently as unto the Lord, working with our hands. If you don't work with your hands, you're using your mind, but you're using whatever gift, talent, skill, or ability that the Lord has endowed you with to provide for yourself. Provision is a form of protection. It hedges you against a government shutdown and things of the like. Now, fathers, to be clear, children, when they have fathers, should never meet the state before the father's paycheck comes to check in. And so my thesis tonight is very simple. The welfare state didn't just pad people's budgets. It actually replaced fathers, undermined or even made marriage unnecessary or undesirable. And now we have an entire generation that's been discipled into dependency. Like, these people think it is their right to be taken care of. They believe that when the government is supplying for their every waking need, that they are entitled to that. But what they don't realize is that all of that counterfeit compassion has done nothing more than shackle a group of people to the government, to where now they can't even fathom what's going to happen November 1st if the check doesn't come on through. If the EBT is not replenished with the balance that they were expecting. This is why I spent a lot of time, and I know there are individuals who don't like the fact that I talk about politics, but I talk about politics is because politics is encroaching upon my biblical worldview, and my biblical worldview is what informs my politics. I talk about communism and Marxism, which are these two anti God, anti Christian worldviews, because what it does is it perverts the Christian concept and it ends up promising you virtues without Christ and a community of people to take care of you, void of a covenant, which is what we have within the body of Christ. We're a covenant community. And so, since all of these government incentives are what drives people's behavior, right? You're getting a check for basically having a broken home. Well, broken homes produce more broken homes. It is a cycle, a generational cycle, if you will, not a curse, but a generational cycle of learned behavior where you were your mama, your grandmama, all your aunties, everybody living off the government, and you somehow think that this is normal and how it's supposed to be. Effectively, we have seen the state rewarding dysfunction. And are we shocked when dysfunction multiplies? And so, what I want to do now is I want to show you guys, some receipts.
Where are the celebrities? Where are the mothers? Where is Kim Kardashian? Where is Cardi B? Where is Taylor?
I know what happened. Whenever I change scenes to this scene, it mutes my mic automatically, even though I didn't tell it to. It's a setting that I have not figured out how to change. So let me give my spill again. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I was muted. I'm not muted now. I'll go back. What I was saying was that um, I'm gonna show some clips of some women who are going to share their their ratchery and complaints with the fact that the EBTs are getting shut off. And what I was saying is that please make the proper category distinctions. I understand that there are some women who fall on hard times. You may have been laid off from your job and you've got to do what you need to do and apply for help to get you from point A to point B. I am not talking about those women, okay? I am making a specific appeal to those who've made this dependency a way of life, and they're not looking to improve their circumstances. They're not looking to get off. They're actually looking for ways to stay on it, and then dare you to remove this safety net from them, or else they'll steal or loot or riot or do all sorts of things. I also said that I did not have time to edit these clips. So some of these matriarchal miscreants are going to use some perverse language. Okay. You might hear an F bomb or two. It is after 10 p.m. You are an adult. The babies should be in bed. So please govern yourself accordingly. Okay. But I don't speak this way, but they do. They're not born from above. So you guys got to deal with it. I don't condone the language. But at the same time, there was nothing I could do about it in time for this live stream. So sorry about the muting, you guys. Whenever I switch scenes, it just does that. So let's take a listen to some of the dysfunctional arguments that these women are going to present, and then I'll come back and engage with it.
Where are the celebrities? Where are the mothers? Where is Kim Kardashian? Where is Cardi B? Where is Taylor Swift? Where is Beyonce? 40 million people are about to lose their food assistance, and they do not care because they are part of the system. Wake up. Nobody needs Skims when they're actually skin and bone. Nobody needs 12 albums with the same music.
Listen, not to interrupt, but most people that I see on EBT are not skin and bone. They have not missed any meals. The back is big, and they've got plenty of calories to sustain them. So listen, the dramatics here, don't fall for the dramatics. Basically, she's trying to make an appeal to women to say, listen, you're supporting all of these celebrities who claim to be on your side, but they don't care about you. All they do is exploit you, which is true. You buy their products, their Skims. I guess that's what Kim Kardashian's shapewear line. I don't know. I don't keep up with these people. But I've never understood the appeal for following a celebrity and getting any sort of clues on how to live, or that these people care about you. I don't know. Maybe there are people out there that believe that, but I thought that argumentation was weird. But let her finish.
Wake up, they don't care. They want you to starve. Starve them. Do not buy their stuff. They want children to starve. Wake up.
There is nothing wrong with someone being on food stamps, okay? Y'all are highly mistaken to sit there and criticize someone for getting the help that they need for their family. And y'all keep coming for me because I've been on food stamps for the past 15 years. You do realize that I qualified for food stamps because of my income, right? Because I don't have any income. I haven't had income in the past 15 years, and I have been able to have my bills paid, my food paid for, and I'm in Section 8 housing. Okay?
So in 15 years, she ain't been able to find a job. Like, I think for me, it is not even the issue that there are people who are on the system and receiving benefits. I get it. I was a young mom at one point. You got to do what you got to do. I think for me, the challenge is they're so proud of their choices. Like, I've been on public assistance for 15 years and I don't have income, as if acquiring a skill in 15 years wasn't doable. Getting a job in how many promotions you could have gotten in 15 years? Like, I just don't understand. She does not look disabled. She looks like she's in her right mind. They sit on the internet telling the world all of their business and are confused that we all have something to say about it. Like, I'm trying to understand, in what world is it okay for you to think that people are not going to have an opinion when you tell them you've been on public assistance for 15 years and that you have no income? Why not? What if 15 years? I mean, a child can go through the K through 12 system. In less than 15 years, you could have had a baby and your child is now graduating and you're still receiving benefits? How does that happen? That's just crazy to me.
These are all programs that I'm entitled to because I do not make enough. Okay?
I know, like, but why? What, first of all, what is enough? And why do you believe you're entitled to it? It's the entitlement for me. I mean, she's looking in the camera like I'm entitled to it because I don't make enough. And I'm just like, so because you don't make enough, you feel entitled to my money to where my taxpayer money has to be used to subsidize and take care of you. But what are you doing to take care of yourself? From the looks of it, nothing.
So before you go and pass judgment on someone, realize that everyone's life situation is not going to be the same as yours. Okay, you might work 40, 50 hours a week and you might have income coming in, but there's people like me out here who don't have anything to their name that have to rely on these programs because they don't have jobs.
Why don't you have a job? This is why I was all for the work requirement. Like if your child is school age, and I still think that work requirement was too lenient. It was just too lenient. They only required, 80 hours for the whole month. No. For you to sit here and say there are people out here who don't have jobs 15 years and you ain't been able to find a job, no. I mean, I know the job market is rough, but it's not that rough. You choose not to work because we have politicians that want to create a government, a class of dependents, masters, slaves looking for masters. They want another government, a class of government dependents in order for them to remain in power to say, if you don't vote for us, they're going to take your SNAP away. They're going to take your Section 8 away. If you don't vote, they don't want GOP leadership because GOP leadership is going to come with a standard and a requirement. These women have lived their lives not under the authority. They've been allowed to just be rebellious and run amok and have someone else take care of them. And the thought of someone putting a standard and a requirement in place causes them to crash out.
What do you expect us to do?
Get a job.
I'm telling y'all, Trump is really taking y'all through there because this government shutdown thing going on now, they want to take government assistance from everybody, Section 8, HUD, and they not worrying about come Thanksgiving, come Christmas. 2 months, these people won't be receiving any government assistance to be able to feed their kids. They already starting it now. The money they working for is not covering everything.
Like on a serious note, like the real reason why they can't take my shit, cause how the fuck y'all gonna take?
Wait a minute, was that a tattoo on her face? Did I see that right?
This shit in November. That's when Thanksgiving and people eating food and preparing.
She got a whole tattoo on her jawline right here, one right here, all of this right here. Wow. Why do we do that to ourselves, ladies? Like, who told y'all that was attractive? Like, to just have someone draw on you. Like, I've never woken up and was like, you know what? It would be a good idea for me to let somebody draw on my face. Like, just puncture a needle in my face, like right here. That's cute. That's like real sexy. Yes, do more of that. I don't know.
Meals and shit and bringing potlucks and bring your own dish and bring a dish and fuck, like, what the fuck am I gonna eat? Some crackers? Some bread? What, all I'm gonna be able to get is some stuffing? Some cornbread? I won't even be able to go get me a motherfucking ham. Like,
Ma'am, your nails are done. Yeah, I went and got my nails done. Normally, Normally I do my own nails, right? Normally I just, put the little gel polish on it and say God bless you, good night. But last month, I think I was just under a lot of stress and I was doing a lot of stuff and I broke like 3 nails. And when you've grown your nails out and you break 3 of them, at that point you like just throw the whole thing away. You got to start over. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to get my nails done. Y'all, when I went in that nail salon and saw them prices, I was like, wait a minute, people are doing this every 2 weeks? I was like, yeah, I'm old, so it's been a minute, okay? Full sets used to be $20. I went in there and she showed me that little laminated placard, and I was like, I was like, so a full set and a pedicure is gonna run me $100. It was almost $100. I was like, this is wild. This shit got her nails done with little designs on it. I mean, what's the little girl? Oh gosh, she told me her name. The little nail tech lady. Her name was it Susie? She was like, I don't want no design. No. One color in a top coat. No. I don't want no design. I don't want no sparkle. I don't want nothing. Just keep it simple, lady. Running up the tab. These women walking around here with lace fronts and snuffleupagus lashes, whole face tatted up, and nails, and talking about, I can't get a ham. You don't skip, you ain't getting no ham. The ham is on your body. You forfeited your ham.
Y'all going what? Huh? Trump come again? Cause y'all lucky I don't know where y'all live and I work at that tab.
Why y'all so worried about people losing their EBT? Like, not worried. I mean, like people who are celebrating people losing their EBT, like get a job and stuff like that. What does people getting EBT have to do with you?
It's our money. This is the ignorance. The ignorance and the lack of understanding of how government works. These people really think that money grows on trees. If you have children and how they'll ask for stuff and they'll be like, oh, it only costs such. And I'll be like, where do you think the money comes from? You think it just manifests? I remember one time I was in elementary school and I wanted to do something. And I just looked at my mother. I was like, why can't you just write the check? And y'all, after I picked my lip up off the floor, my mother made it clear, oh, you must don't know how this works. You don't just write the check. She was like, that's at that point is when my mother took me, showed me a checkbook and the little, y'all know when you used to flip the checkbook open in the ledger. She was like, first of all, you got to put money in the bank, and then you have to have money. You write the check. Like, she had to explain all of that to me. And I was like, oh, so you just don't write the check. She was like, no, there's money attached to this. These people argue like juveniles to just be like, well, I mean, I don't understand. What does it have to do with you? It's because the taxpayer is paying for it. And listen to what she's about to say after this.
Like, what is it doing to you? Like, what is it taking out of your pocket? What is it? Your taxes and shit still gonna be the same. So why are you celebrating somebody losing something that has no benefit to you? I'm lost.
We know.
So you're telling me that someone in higher power decided that it'd be totally fine to take away SNAP benefits right before the holidays, and now they're talking about taking away our depresso espresso medications? So you're gonna make the majority hungry and psychotic? I mean, fuck around and find out, I guess.
Bro is waiting in the dispensary parking lot, asking people if they have any spare roaches. I don't think y'all understand. The crash out levels is about to go through the roof.
Okay, let me interpret that for the uninitiated. Lil homie right here with the curly hair is saying that there is a young person in the parking lot of the dispensary. The dispensary is the location where you go and obtain the marijuana. And this gentleman is in the parking lot of the dispensary asking people if they have any spare roaches. Roaches are not the insect roach, are a small, not that I have experience in this, but I'm familiar with urban culture. A roach is a. I can't believe I'm telling y'all what this is. Listen, okay, a roach is let's say you have a joint and you're done smoking it, or you're like, I don't want any more, and it's too small for you to really do something with. So it's like really, really small. The man is he want to smoke. He want to smoke weed so bad that he's collected roaches.
Flag on the play.
Oh God, I'm sorry. It was just funny when you think about it. The struggle is real. If you are in the parking lot of the dispensary soliciting other weed heads for roaches, and they call it a roach because it's small. It's not a bug. Y'all saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. Okay, the Lord has removed who you used to be before Christ from your memory. Praise God for that. I happen to remember. I know what a roach is. This is fun. So basically, his argument is no food stamps means you don't have money for weed. Wow.
No food stamps equals no to less weed money. Like, y'all about to have people out here hangry and sober. That's a diabolical combination.
No, well, the thing is, he said they're going to be hangry, hungry, and sober. The thing, if you think about it, if you smoke weed and those munchies kick in and now you don't have any EBT money, that is diabolic. That's rough. I mean, because you'll be like Pookie and you can't satisfy the itch because you don't have no money to eat. So I could see why this demographic is struggling. But this is still a problem. This is a huge. I'm gonna let him finish, and there's another girl who's gonna get in, and she's gonna be cussing a lot. But I don't think I'm gonna let her play.
Because the food money got to come out of some budget, and that's the first one it usually comes from. All I'm saying is just be nicer to people in these coming days, because that blunt and those snacks may have been the only thing stopping your coworker from putting you first in line for a meet and greet with God Almighty.
Basically, this man just said so many people that you know have been restrained from sending you to meet your maker because of weed and EBT money. Y'all, this is crazy work. This is crazy. Right. So DJ Magnetic help the people understand. They don't understand that it's not Trump that's doing this to them. It's the Democrats. I agree. They don't realize that. They don't know what a continuing resolution is. I've already done a video on the CR. It's where the CR is only supposed to be for the basics, right? Just to keep, it's no different than you paying your rent, your lights, just the basics. What the Democrats are trying to do is they want an additional $1.5 trillion for health care, but not for you, the American people. It's for the illegals, because they need another class of slaves. They need another demographic of dependents. And they know that they are losing congressional seats and electoral college votes because the population in these blue cities, they're losing population. And so they're scrounging, trying to figure out how can we replace the congressional seats that we're losing and the electoral college votes that we're losing. We have to woo these illegals, give them free stuff, figure out a way to help to let them vote so that we can stay in power. That's what people don't realize what's happening. And then they claim that, oh, well, we need to make healthcare affordable. A continuing resolution is not the time to negotiate for healthcare. This is supposed to be for the basics. When it's time to discuss a budget, first of all, we can have a conversation about why the Affordable Care Act, which was never affordable, needs to be repealed and replaced because it's made healthcare go up. But, sorry, y'all. I think my fan's in another purse. Yeah, you're right, though. You are absolutely right. So, before I finish and wrap up what I was going to say, let me get to these super chats because I don't want people to think that I forgot about them. Hey, Willie Doc. Willie Doc says for your orthopedic, rheumatology, podiatry, rehab testimony. Listen, that is the perfect explanation because, yes, my foot, my knee, the stiffness, the inflammation in my joints, I'm going to need all of that. Thank you so much for your contribution, Willie Doc. I appreciate you looking out for your girl. Dayon also says, also, Democrats are accusing Christians of not being Christians because we don't want government subsidized programs. So this is where the fake gospel of social justice and the gospel of, Jesus was a socialist, that whole false rhetoric, we need to apologetically defend against that, because here's what I've noticed. I've noticed that the average Christian cannot defend the biblical position of the fact that Christianity is not a socialistic religion, and they don't understand how to argue from the book of Acts and what the early church was doing. They don't know how to make the proper category distinction between what we saw in Acts, meaning the church had all things in common. It wasn't Rome that had all things in common. It was these new believers who were being added to the church, and we were taking care of the household of faith. That doesn't spill over into those outside of the household of faith. We take care of our own first, especially those in the household of faith. But the early church had all things in common. That is not a model for a government economic structure. That is not. That is an improper use of a historical narrative, trying to make that a prescription versus viewing that as something that is descriptive. We don't look at the book of Acts as prescriptive. It's descriptive. And so I just want to encourage my audience, if you are a believer and people try to blame Christians, like Dayon said, you need to learn how to apologetically push back and defend against that. Because the average, listen, no shade, but the average black person going to a black church, they're not going to be able to defend against that. And they will end up being guilted into saying that you are a bad Christian because you don't want government subsidies, because we're supposed to feed the poor and clothe the hungry and the naked and the needy, because that's what Jesus would have wanted. They don't understand the scriptures. Hey, Sister Ruth. She said these damn Democrat politicians here in Minneapolis telling these folks it's Trump's fault is pure craziness. Sister Ruth, listen. I don't know how you stay living in Minneapolis with the corruption going on in that city, but I agree. The Democrats are very good at lying and positioning their messaging in such a way that their constituents remain. This is why they have to keep the lies going, because they don't expect you to research and to be able to understand what's really happening. It's unfortunate, but that's where we are. Hello, Jay New Orleans says the queen is live and speaking truth. Hey, brother, thank you so much for that super chat. I don't know about being the queen. The queen is hot, I tell you that much. She is hot, and this is a really long hot flash. Oh, we've got another one from him. Thank you so much. The government Trent. Oh, this is good. This is good, Jay. The government Trinity is their savior. SNAP, Section 8, and welfare. Sir, I may have to borrow that and do a whole show on the triune nature of the government, and how government, well, I tell you, with the Democrats, government is God. That is the idea that they want cemented into your head. But the fact that you put it together as SNAP, Section 8, and welfare, that is the government trinity. And they do look to it as in a salvific sense. That was very insightful. Thank you for that. That's giving me an idea. Let me just write it down real quick before I forget. I really appreciate that. Oh, here go the big homie. Shout out to support our shields. That is my brother Henry. He goes wishing our little sis a speedy recovery after her epic crash in Philly last Friday, rolling on the floor. We are having pizza tonight. Why are you looking at Henry? Trying to behave. Trying to behave. Y'all, that's an inside joke. And now he's got wait till I get off this live stream, Henry. I can't. I can't. I'm just saying, like I didn't see that. Harold P22, Bonnet Brigade strikes again. Listen, Terrell or Terrell. I'm sorry, I don't know if the emphasis is on which syllable, but when I went to get my nails done today, the reason why that comment is funny about the Bonnet Brigade and how it strikes again. I am so bothered by the ethnic image that women who do not they have no sense of responsibility to show up in the world in a way where they want people to respect them. When I went to get my nails done today, Jenny, that was her name. I don't know. What did I call her before? Lily? I don't know. Her name was Jenny. You know what she said to me? She said, I'm not gonna try to mimic her accent. I'm not, because I'm stupid and I'm immature. She said that she knows my name is April. She said, I so appreciate the way you come in because in my culture, the way you dress and you present yourself to the world, it tells people a lot about you. And she was basically saying, she was like, I always like how you come in and how you're dressed. And I said, well, thank you. I said, I get that from my mom, who got it from her grandmother, and it's how I raise my girls. I was like, it's important. Y'all, listen, it matters. The older I get, the more I realize that it matters. Because the way Jenny treats me when I come into the nail salon, Jenny don't treat all her clients the same way. And I haven't even been going to Jenny that long. I just haven't. But I can tell she spends extra time. Now, I don't know if she thinks she's going to get a bigger tip. I don't know, but I do tip her. She spends extra time. She is interested in, like, she knew I was going to be out of town. She might even watch the channel. Hey, Jenny. But it matters, ladies. It matters. I'm not saying you got to go all out. Every day is not a fashion show. But if you can just get some wardrobe basics, some classics, a classic blazer, a nice pair of slacks, a nice pencil skirt, a nice midi dress, a nice maxi dress, and mix and match. And I'm talking about like stuff you can get from the Walmart and just show up not in the bonnet, right? Like not in the bonnet, not in, some leggings and your midriff hanging out. Like, just if we just took a little time to present better, the way the world experiences you, they do treat you different. They just do. So your comment made me say that. Anyway, so let me finish what I was saying. Notice, you guys, the language in all of these clips. We heard a lot of, I'm entitled to housing. I'm entitled to food. Like, you're supposed to take care of my health care. And I'm like, no, you are entitled to image-bearing dignity and equal justice under the law. And that's it, right? Food, housing, healthcare, all of those are responsibilities that we pursue through the family, through having gainful employment, is having a job, right? And volunteering your time to charity. There's so many other avenues other than entitlement and expecting someone else, i.e. the government, to do these things for you. When the government becomes your source, it's going to demand your worship. You will have to bow the knee. It's gonna demand something of you. And not only your worship, your silence, your vote, you will end up abdicating your entire soul to the government when you look at the government as God. That's how this works. And so if like there are able-bodied men. Obama did this where he adjusted the rules of EBT to where now able-bodied men are receiving food stamps. That's wild to me. And so my thing is, if you're a guy and your kids are eating off an EBT card while you're ducking child support, right? That's unacceptable. A man is supposed to stand up, be a man, and provide for his own. And we've lived in a democratic heaven for so long that it has created an American hell for everybody else, because it tells men that you can vanish and the government is going to come and swoop in and pick up the slack. And that's not okay. I don't have an issue, like I said, with the elderly, disabled, widows. We want to support them. The church has always done its job in that. Neighbors come in and fill in the gaps there. But able-bodied, chronically idle, these intentional single mamas who got the revolving door of a man coming in and out, but you don't want a husband. These are the ones, they don't need a new EBT card. They need discipleship. They need the gospel. These women need Christ. I'm sorry, repentance and the gospel of Christ is a better policy than any of these permanent welfare programs. Because once the gospel is made alive and you actually understand the truth of the gospel and God opens up your heart, you will submit yourselves to the scriptures and you'll see that, you know what, I was supposed to marry before having kids. Why? Because God's order works. And so the heartache I'm experiencing right now and the hardship I'm experiencing right now is because I was living my life in open rebellion against a righteous and holy God, and I did things out of order. But now post salvation, I endeavor to do something different and to make different choices. So the issue is not, oh, you're a single mom and you're on EBT. Your greatest need is Christ. But then once Christ comes in and he changes your heart, your worldview changes to where you're like, you know what? I was supposed to marry before I carried. Well, I didn't. So now we're gonna go move forward and make better decisions. Right? Something else that happens when the gospel comes into the light of Christ. I mean, there are even pagans who recognize the trap of government dependence. But if we're just going to talk about solutions that it might sting when you hear it, but it works, is that you should put work before welfare. Meaning, when we put strict work requirements for able-bodied adults, it moves them from a place of wanting to be an eternal adolescent to where they actually stand on their own 2 feet and they actually want to grow up and be productive citizens. A lot of people don't like that, but it's the truth. The other solution that might sting is the fact that there is no reason why somebody should be on EBT for 15 years and have never worked. We need to put time limits on this. And there should be some sort of mechanism where it tapers back. Yes, you should be able to get help when you're in crisis. But there should be some sort of off ramp to help you get off of it with some dignity. It used to be shameful if you were on the system. Most people are like, I don't want no government assistance. I got to figure something else out. Now it's like, well, you ain't on the EBT. Well, what's wrong with you? I'm like, y'all trifling, right? The church, yes, the church plays a role in terms of providing some sort of Christ-centered compassion, but benevolence, it should be on a case-by-case basis. The church is not a socialistic arm of the government. That is not our mission. Our mission is gospel-centric first. We can have food pantries, we can fill in the gaps, but it is not our job to be a socialistic arm of the government. That is not our mission. And so I'd also like to see if we changed some of these child support laws and enforced where fathers were incentivized to build and maintain families, because I look at child support in some aspects as a fine, because a lot of these men don't really have access to their kids like they want. They're just they are levied this amount of money that they have to pay, but they don't really get access to the kids like they should. So maybe we should prioritize family restoration, give some job placement skills, some sort of real accountability in place. We need a both and approach, because yes, it is the matriarchal squalor. They are a lot at fault, but also we have a very broken child support system that incentivizes, you can break up this home, and if you pay this and you ain't got to deal with her no more, and you're still satisfying the requirement to take care of your kid. It's just something fundamentally broken with that. I don't like that kind of system. And so at the end of the day, y'all, I think people, if they understood that they have to stop voting for these darn Democrats, because all they're going to do is dangle these benefits in front of your face, and at the same time they are bankrupting you of having any sort of future, because it's a trap. It's a hamster wheel that you're never able to get off of. And so I'm just not, I don't want to normalize chaos. And I get tired of seeing generations of women who've been taught to worship the state and to look to the state to fill the void, where a man and a woman in a bona fide state of marriage, when they're working together, don't have these kinds of problems. And so I don't know. That's pretty much all I had to say about that. I think it's shameful of what we've seen with the welfare queens crashing out, demanding that working class people who are already struggling with these high Obamacare premiums that promised to be affordable, but it's anything but affordable, because we're still subsidizing the fact that all of these people that's on Medicaid, we're the ones who have to experience increased premiums to subsidize for what the government doesn't cover for the Medicaid recipients. It's just a fundamentally broken system. It is really, really broken. And so, amen. I did not. It's late. It's wow. It's 10:56. I'm super thirsty, you guys. I wanted to cover, not necessarily tonight, but the governor's race up in Virginia is very interesting to me. Obama recently came out and endorsed Abigail Spanberger. Would you look at that? All that time he spent lecturing us about, supporting and voting for a black woman, he goes and puts his support behind the white liberal. Amazing how that works. I'm probably gonna cover that tomorrow. I'll probably record it. Y'all pray for me. I'm struggling to make content these days. My seasonal affective disorder is kicking in. Every fall when the weather changes and it starts to get cold, it takes a lot for me to motivate myself to do the things that I am supposed to do. And so if the content slows down, I apologize. I really can't afford for it to slow down, but there are just some days I'm like, I just don't feel like it. I don't. I struggle. I take my vitamin D. I'm keeping my immune system strong, but when it's cold, y'all, I'm like a bear. I hibernate. Like I hibernate between November and like early February. And this winter, I believe, is going to be a frosty and cold winter where I don't even like leaving the house. I don't like leaving the house. I mean, I'm mad if I got to go to the grocery store. I'm just mean mugging and there's no joy on my face, and I have to fight against that. Because I got things to do. So let me give you guys some announcements. Really quickly, let me just play this one quick announcement for you guys, and then I'll come back and talk about it. Faith, family, and freedom. 3 words that define who we are and what we stand for. This November, the Frederick Douglass Leadership Institute invites you to the 2025 DLI Annual Conference, a gathering of bold voices, fearless leaders, and unshakable truth. From November 6th through November 8th, join us at the Hilton Atlanta Northeast in Peachtree Corners, Georgia, where leaders like Bob Woodson Sr., Dr. Alveda King, Bishop Wellington Boone, Dr. Patricia Bailey, Bishop Vincent Matthews, and many more will stand together to declare our faith, our family, our freedom. This isn't just another conference, you guys. It's a movement. This is a call to return to righteousness, justice, liberty, and virtue. And this year, I've got something super special for you. I'll be broadcasting Unshakable with April Chapman live on site, and I'll be sitting down with King Randall, founder of X School for Boys, right here in Albany, Georgia, for a powerful conversation that you do not want to miss. You'll also hear from my brother, the big homie, Pastor John Amachukwu, a leading voice in the fight for truth in our culture and churches today. So please mark your calendars, November 6th through the 8th, Atlanta, Georgia, the Douglass Leadership Institute's annual conference. Be there, be bold, and be unshakable. Register today at conference.dliinstitute.org. Can't wait to see you there. All right, you guys. So next week, November the 6th through the 8th, is the Douglass Leadership Institute's annual conference. And I need to make some corrections because I was under the impression that I would be bringing Unshakable with April Chapman on Saturday. And I was recently told that I am going to be there on Friday. So instead of Saturday at 12 noon, my hit time is Friday at 12 noon. So we've had to rearrange some things and change some travel arrangements for Henry, my producer, so that we can work out all those details. And so I am hoping that that is not going to pose a problem for so many of my subscribers who were planning to come, but you were planning to come on Saturday. I will actually be there Friday. And I am so sorry. I clutched my pearls and I freaked out just like you did because I had already spent money to make sure that Henry got here and we did what we needed to do. And then I had to go and change stuff. So, but we worked it out. God is still to be glorified, but I will be there Friday at 12 noon interviewing King Randall. We're going to do the show live. My goal is to live stream it, maybe. I've got to touch base with the production team to make sure that that is going to be doable. But if not, a replay of it will definitely be available. But I am bringing the show there to the conference, interviewing King Randall. He has been on my list, my short list of people to interview because I'm quite fascinated with his story and all of the work that he's doing there. I'm so, so proud of him. So that's going to be happening next week. Yeah. And I'm also speaking. The Refuge Center is having their annual fundraiser on the night of the 6th, Thursday, November 6th. I am the keynote for that fundraiser. The Refuge Center is a pregnancy center here in my county, Rockdale County, Georgia. And they do some amazing work, you guys. You guys know the pro-life movement is very near and dear to my heart. And so I am so honored to provide their keynote and to lovingly admonish them to keep fighting the good fight of faith and help them to raise some money for their annual budget. And so the 6th is the Refuge Center. The 6th through the 8th is the DLI conference, but I won't be there until Friday because I can't be in two places at the same time. And yeah, hopefully, Lord willing, things will be slowing down. I'll be out of town the week after that, but I'm going to do a better job, you guys, of popping in and doing impromptu live streams when I'm on the road because I find that when I come back home, it takes me a couple of days to get back in the swing of things. Like I'm always very, very rusty. So what I'll do, even if it's informal and I'm just on my phone and I pop in and I say hi to you guys, I'm sure you guys don't care. I mean, as long as I don't show up like in my head rag or anything like that, y'all will be good, right? So that's what I'll do. I'll do some more impromptu live streams because there's so many things that happen that I don't get to react to, because in real time I'm like, okay, I couldn't get to it. I wasn't here. And I've come to the conclusion that y'all don't care if I'm here. Y'all are just like, pop in and tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you think. And so that's what I'm gonna start doing. You are welcome. You are welcome. Other than that, I can't think of anything else that I had been meaning to tell you, other than I'll do a video probably tomorrow to share my thought on Obama endorsing Abigail Spanberger. And I'll also give you my thoughts on the whole Virginia gubernatorial race. Obviously, I'm going to support the GOP candidate, but I just think that in terms of a candidate, she's not as strong as a candidate as I would have liked. She is pro-life. She's a little Weasley with defending her position, but I think she could have done a better job of hitting her opponent, and I'm talking about beating Abigail to the white meat ideologically. It's just too much meat on the bone if you are a conservative running against a far leftist. There's too much meat on that bone for you to be trying to play nice and be all diplomatic and politician like. Like, you need to come out the gate swinging, making sure that your policy platform is clear, but not only that, exposing the lunacy of what your opponent, and not just your opponent, you need to label it what the Democrats want. Remember, they are all on code with the same agenda. The Democrats are all on code with the same agenda. So if you're a candidate running and you are unable to masterfully articulate and expose the debauchery and the perversion and the lunacy of the left, particularly as it comes to law and order, open borders, school choice, the sexualization of our children, abortion up until the 9th month, like, you're not ready to be in this fight if I can't, when you open your mouth, you're unwilling to implicate those who have done the damage and destroyed our country. And then as a Black woman, you're unable to point the finger and say, it's them evil jokers right over there. It's those Black preachers, those Black civil rights workers, and those Black politicians, that they are the ones that are keeping the Black community behind. If you don't say that, I mean, I'ma support you, but you ain't got that dog in you. I need someone with some fight in them that's gonna say those things, because we're just in a different. I'm doing the whole video for tomorrow tonight. I want trying to do that tonight, y'all. I'm tired, but that's just my initial thought. She ain't got that fight in her. I understand she's an immigrant. I understand that she's a Marine, well accomplished. I expected a former Marine to have a little bit more fight, meaning, don't show up to a fight with a butter knife. We need a throat cutter. And I just don't think Winsome is a throat cutter. And I think that's why she's probably a little bit behind, because she's not convinced the people of Virginia that this far left agenda is not the direction we need to go in, and why she is the better choice. She's playing too nice. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But if you are, you need to vote for her, because she what you got, right? I mean, you could be in a situation like New York City is in right now with Zoran Mondani and Cuomo. And I mean, I'm from New York City, and I could easily see how Zoran Mondani might win, because even behind all of the fakeness and the lies, he's likable. I mean, the fake smile and the congenial way that he engages with the people. When you look at Cuomo, he always got that scowl on his face. Like, he's just not likable. He's not likable, and he doesn't have a strategy. So New York City may be very well handing their city over to a full-blown communist, only because He has a shareable narrative. It's all lies, and it's going to plunge New York City into bankruptcy, but he's likable. I just, Republicans got to do better in the person that, like, we need to see you kissing babies. Right? We need to pick up a baby and just plant one on them. I just love you so much. People need to like you. If people don't like you, you're going to be a hard sell. You have to have charisma and personality, and that needs to be the icing on the cake because your policies are good. But you need these GOP candidates, they need some Lawry's. They ain't got no Lawry's on them. They need some seasoning. Say what you want about Bill Clinton and his freak nasty situationships in the White House. Bill had the Lawry's. People just liked him. He knew how to pull people into his orbit and to make you feel like you were the most important person in the room, even though you was one of many holes in every area code of his. I'm talking about constituents. Yes. We have to learn. I don't know where you go to get that sort of political training. Maybe you just either have it or you don't. I don't know, but these candidates don't have it. Some of them just do not have it. They're a little dry. It's almost like you have that old Thanksgiving turkey that just needs a little broth on it to revive it. They have no broth. They've been in the refrigerator for a whole week, and you just trying to make a turkey sandwich. You just trying to do the best that you can with them. You know what I mean? Anyway. So Janet said, April, just explain about the roaches. Oh, Father help. Well, isn't it funny that I had to explain about the roaches? This is crazy. Yeah, she's too nice. Listen, don't tell me you're a Marine and she's too nice. And then I think the other thing that's hurting her is that she didn't really I think she came out against Trump, and Trump, listen, he got a memory like an elephant. He don't forget. Like, he's loyal. You loyal to him, he's loyal to you. He will come out, even if he doesn't come out and personally endorse you, he will he'll send out his pigeons and be like, y'all put some money behind her because she's gonna need your support. Now in the ninth hour, I mean, I think he just was like, "Ugh, there you go." But it's her fault. You can't go against the big dog and then expect him not to bark. You Why do I have to tell these people these things? I've not been politically engaged that long. It's been maybe 10 years, maybe 11. And I'm like, y'all need to pay me for this political strategy that I'm giving because it's worth its weight in gold. Okay? Call me. I'm here. I've been here. Anyway, no, I believe she really is conservative. If you look at her origin story, she strikes me as one that might compromise if given the right opportunity. She doesn't strike me as someone that, outside of keeping boys out of girl sports, during her debate, I didn't like the way she answered, not her debate. She was on the Jillian Michaels podcast, and y'all know, love Jillian, but Jillian's married to a woman. Like, she's a lesbian. She's into the, I did not like how Winsome would not defend what she actually believes about gay marriage. And I think because she was on Jillian's show, she didn't want to offend Jillian. And I think there's a way that you can be charitable to a person and just be like, ma'am, like, because Jillian flat out asked her, are you going to do anything to prevent gay couples from marrying? Jillian asked her that. She backed her in the corner. I'm like, why weren't you prepared with an answer for that? You should have been prepared. So yeah, I'm being a little critical. It's because if you can't critique your own side and cause them or inspire them to raise the standard and to come up to a higher level, then what's the point? I don't want a mediocre candidate. I want a candidate that I can put my vote behind and say they're gonna do what I voted them to do. I don't want, someone that's gonna falter in between two opinions because they are unable to stand flat footed in what they act like. Where are your convictions? What are they? So anyway, I dropped my lip gloss. All right, you guys. Until next time, you guys. I can't go live tomorrow. I got too much going on. But maybe Thursday or Friday we'll meet again and do a live stream, and in between time I will do some pre-recorded videos and get my thoughts out about Obama endorsing Abigail Spanberger. So y'all stand firm, stay bold, and above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.